Hi, my name is Tiana Karamayas and I'm a Cavoodle Puppy Coach and breeder for Cavoodle Way and River City Puppies. As a coach, my philosophy is simple. A Cavoodle should always complement your lifestyle, not complicate it. And this is the foundation to everything I teach. For almost the past decade, I have been working in the breeding, training, grooming, and veterinary sectors of the small animal industry. I've also been raising Cavoodles for the past 16 years, so I have definitely learned a thing or two about the breed along the way. Now this podcast is all about Cavoodles. Raising Cavoodles, training Cavoodles, grooming Cavoodles, breeding Cavoodles, and how to shape the behaviour of a Cavoodle puppy. So if you're a Cavoodle parent or you are looking at adding a Cavoodle to your family soon, then this podcast is for you. New episodes will be released each Tuesday morning and you can follow me across all social media under the name @CavoodleWay for more tips and advice on Cavoodles. Thanks for tuning in. Hello and welcome back to episode 29 of the Cavoodle Coach podcast. My name is Tiana Karamayas and I'm your host, and I'm so happy to be here for the second week in a row. I really did not like taking that short break while I was busy with the rest of the business. So I'm so happy to be back and to be bringing you episodes every single Tuesday. So in today's episode, I want to talk about how long it takes to prepare for a Cavoodle puppy. This has been on my mind a lot lately because I have a puppy at the moment. He is 18 weeks old, so 4.5 months. So I have just gone through that process of obviously preparing for him, preparing the house for him, and then obviously raising him in that first critical period of his life. So I have this fresh in my mind, so let's just dive right into it. So how long do you need to prepare for a Cavoodle? The first thing I'd like to say when I get asked this question is when someone is pregnant and they are having a baby, they spend usually around 9 months at least preparing for the arrival of this baby. During this time, they're learning about the different developmental periods the baby is going to go through, what to expose them to during these times, how to play with them, how to interact with them, what to do for their sleeping schedules. They do birthing classes, breastfeeding classes, and they just spend 9 months just learning everything they can about having a baby so that they can raise their baby to the best of their ability and give their baby the best start in life possible. And to obviously make that initial period of having a newborn as smooth as possible and hopefully with as little complications and stress as you can possibly have. So you're spending so much time preparing for a baby, and the reason why you spend so much time preparing for a baby and preparing for a child is because we all know just how big of an impact your childhood has as an adult. As you go up, what happened to you as a child greatly influences the way that you react to different things happening to you, the way that you understand the world, the way that you perceive the world, your likes, your interests, your habits. It's so heavily shaped by your childhood. And so the childhood years are so formative to the adult human or the teenager. And this is the same with puppies. When you have a puppy, puppies also go through such a big developmental period when they're young, and it definitely 1000% will shape their personality, their demeanor, and how they react to everything happening to them as an adult dog. And this is so important for families to understand because you need to know that that first month with your puppy is going to determine whether they're an easy dog or a hard dog, whether they're a reactive Cavoodle who barks at everything, or if they are really calm and well balanced, or if they're a Cavoodle who is going to cry whenever they're separated from you or when they're in anxious situations, or whether your Cavoodle is going to be relaxed and able to stay calm and in control of their emotions when they are in these anxious settings. That first month, those first 2 months with your puppy is so formative. And so when I say, how long do you need to prepare for a Cavoodle puppy for? What I'm trying to say to you is the preparing for your Cavoodle is the most important part. It is more important than the physical training you do with them, because it doesn't matter if you teach your puppy how to sit and how to lie down and how to stay perfectly, because that's easy and every puppy learns that and they learn it within a few minutes. It's nothing hard for them to do. It doesn't matter if you do that. What matters is if you're not aware of the developmental period they're in and how you need to be interacting with them during that period, and what you need to be exposing them to, how you need to be playing with them, and how you need to react when they try and communicate to you in a way you don't want. And this is usually through crying or barking or chewing or digging or biting. And the preparation period for your puppy, what that needs to look like, it needs to be you and your family members all preparing for how to shape your puppy's behavior. And this is through understanding the developmental period they're in, and obviously, how do we communicate with them? So while with children, you have years and years to help shape them and build their confidence and expose them to different things and make sure that we're giving them the best childhood possible, and therefore making sure that we are giving them, the most confidence and the self-belief that they can do anything as we can, because a child who doesn't have that self-belief and that self-confidence can really struggle later on in life. For a puppy, you really only have 1 month to do this with a puppy. 1 single month. And that's because the only time in your puppy's entire life that you can shape their mind and their perceptions of the world without any hesitations or fears already being there is only in the first month of your puppy. And so if you've listened to this podcast, or at least a few episodes, you would have heard me speak about the critical socialization period before. And this critical socialization period goes from 3 weeks of age up until 12 weeks of age for your puppy. And we usually get our puppies from the breeders around 8 weeks of age. So that leaves you with 4 weeks with your puppy still in this critical socialization period. And it is the only time in your puppy's whole life where you have hopefully a blank canvas, depending on what the breeder's done. Hopefully they've done some very positive interactions and exposures, but you will have a blank canvas for the only time in your puppy's life where you can very specifically and purposely expose them to different pieces of stimuli, different people, different objects, different places, different experiences. You can make them positive, and therefore you're teaching your puppy that when you're in that situation again in the future, that it's nothing to be anxious about and that everything is okay and you can be happy and relaxed. And that's how we have a puppy who is really easy to have in the home and take out of the home, rather than a puppy who suffers from severe separation anxiety or social anxiety and is reactive, because when a puppy feels anxious, this can be displayed outwardly through fear, and this can look like biting people or growling or barking aggressively, and that just comes from a place of anxiety. And so in that first month with your puppy, that's when you have to have a plan for exactly what you're going to do, because once that month is up, once your puppy leaves that critical socialization period, and they will leave it at 12 weeks of age or roughly around then, some puppies can stay in it for an extra week or so and some leave it earlier. Once they leave that critical socialization period, suddenly your puppy is a little bit older. Your puppy's brain has matured a little bit more, and your puppy has more of a fear reaction, and they can look at things and they can think that's a bit scary, and then they can have negative associations with different stimuli, and then that's what causes the anxiety and the fear down the track, and that's what really restricts a family in the future with a cavoodle who isn't well balanced and very calm and relaxed and easy to communicate with. So when you are getting a puppy, when you are preparing for a puppy, what I recommend is 2 weeks at a minimum, absolute minimum, preferably at least a month. A month of dedicated prep for your puppy where you are learning about the developmental period your puppy is going to be in. You are learning how to interact with your puppy during these times. So how to play with them, how to cuddle them, how to react when they try and bark at you, or they jump on your legs, or they are crying when you're leaving the room, how to take those behaviors and address them in a way that we can make it positive and switch it around so your puppy learns a different way to communicate with you that isn't shown through the biting or the barking or the jumping, and not through the anxiety-induced crying that they can have. And what we are doing in that month of preparation for your puppy is you're also learning how to train your puppy. So you have to learn yourself the training exercises. If you wait until you have your puppy to learn the training exercises, I guarantee there will be miscommunication because your hand movements won't be clear. And if you're not clearly showing your puppy what to do and moving them into the right positions, then your puppy doesn't do the right thing, which means it takes longer for them to learn these behaviors such as place or stay or sit. And then they get frustrated. And when a puppy gets frustrated, you know what they do? They jump, they bark, they bite, they chew. And so it can lead to a much more difficult puppy period with your puppy if you're not sure what to do. So before getting your puppy, you actually need to learn these exercises. You need to become a trainer yourself so that when the puppy actually arrives, you can jump straight into training with a very clear idea of what hand signals to use, what words to use, and how to actually train your puppy and shape their behavior within your home. It's also really important that during this month-long period that we are setting up the house correctly, making sure we're going to set our puppy up for a really good sleep schedule so that they do sleep through the entire night, and they definitely can do this from the night that you bring them home. You just have to know what you're doing and you have to follow a very specific schedule. At least that's what I teach, and it does work, and that way your puppy will sleep all night long. You also need to be preparing for their toilet training journey. If your puppy comes home and they start having accidents all through the house, and then 2 weeks later you decide, all right, let's go and get a trainer and let's speak about this toilet training, the habit's already formed. It's so hard to reverse that. So it's really important that you actually have your toilet training plan in place before you bring your puppy home, so that the second you walk through the door with your puppy, you are implementing it. And if you implement a proper toilet training plan for Cavoodles, what happens is you never have an accident within the house, and then your puppy is toilet trained within a few weeks' time. Again, entirely possible, but only if you have that plan set. Only if you do this preparation. It's like studying for a really big exam. You need to be spending weeks and weeks learning the material, revising the material, making sure you fully understand the material before the actual exam comes, when you actually have the puppy, and now you have a time limit to do the very best you can, because once the time limit's over, once the exam is over, once your puppy leaves that critical socialization period, you never get to go back and have that again, ever, ever, ever in your puppy's life. So we can't not prepare for this exam. This exam is the most important exam your puppy will have in their life, and it is going to dictate what the next 15 years of your life will look like, because you're going to have this puppy for 15 years. That is a really long time to have a Cavoodle full of behavioral issues. It's a really long time to be restricted to your house because you can't leave the house without your puppy destroying furniture because of their anxiety. And it's a really long time to not be able to take your puppy out on walks because your puppy barks at everyone when they walk past because they are anxious or overexcited. So 15 years is a long time. The more prep you do before you bring your puppy home, the better you are setting yourself and your family up to have an enjoyable 15 years with your Cavoodle, because they are a beautiful breed. They have a beautiful personality and temperament, but only if we are meeting all of their needs and ensuring we are not unintentionally creating behavioral issues just through our daily interactions with them when we first bring them home as a puppy. So 2 weeks at a minimum, 1 month as a maximum. 2 weeks is the minimum, 1 month ideally, but 2-3 months even better. You honestly cannot spend enough time prepping for your puppy, and it takes time to teach yourself everything, and it takes more time to then teach your family members this. And not just the family members who live with you, but the family and friends who are going to come and visit your puppy. We need to be prepping them too, because there's no point spending all this work at home to shape your Cavoodle puppy's behavior to be really calm and attentive and a good listener and relaxed at home. But then the second you have family or friends come and visit, your puppy goes absolutely crazy because the family and friends aren't following the same boundaries and rules that you have with your interactions with the puppy. So it takes time to teach everyone this. So the more time you can spend prepping, the better you will be. And the good news is all of this prep work, it doesn't have to be hard. It's a step-by-step process. You can't just jump ahead. You have to start at the beginning with understanding Cavoodles, the developmental periods they'll be in, and then what socialization actually needs to look like, what the enrichment really needs to look like, the desensitization, the impulse control training, the emotional regulation, and then we start adding in things like how do we cuddle our puppy, how do we play with our puppies so that we don't encourage them to jump on our faces and pull our hair and bite our noses, and how do we react when our puppy does try and do attention-seeking behaviors like the biting and the barking and the crying. How do we actually start doing separation anxiety prevention training? And this process is a step-by-step process, and I created the program I'm most proud about for families getting a puppy, and it focuses heavily on the preparation so that you can get your puppy and you can bring them home and you can jump straight into your 4 weeks of their critical socialization period, knowing exactly what to do and being able to communicate very clearly to your puppy, which just significantly reduces and can completely get rid of any naughty puppy behaviors that are induced from anxiety, boredom, or attention-seeking behaviors. And so this program is called the Essential First Month. Essential First Month. It is essential the first month with them. The Essential First Month Cavoodle Puppy Planner Program. And I recommend to families, if you can, join this program as far in advance as possible before bringing your puppy home. You have access to the program for an entire year. So if you want to start prepping for your Cavoodle 6 months in advance, fantastic. You can go through the prep modules a few times over to really, really make sure you have them cemented into your brain before you bring your puppy home. And then once you bring your puppy home, once you get through those prep modules where we actually learn everything we have to know about a Cavoodle puppy and shaping their behaviors, then we go through a 4-week daily schedule that I have created for you to take you through this critical socialization period so that you know that you have done absolutely everything you possibly can to set your puppy up for success. So in these daily schedules, I have got every hour of the day outlined following a normal 9 to 5 work schedule, so that obviously we can still work. Not everyone will be at home for 4 weeks straight with their puppy. But what we're doing is we're ticking off the correct enrichment for the day, the correct desensitization, the correct impulse control, the correct socialization, the correct training. And we are also making sure we are teaching our puppy how to be left alone and to be confident when we're there alone. We are also teaching our puppy how to have visitors come over and be out in public and not feel anxiety over having people crowding around them. We are also teaching our puppy how to be in our house and be in the same room as us without getting all of our attention. So how to entertain themselves and how to settle and relax in the room while you're there. And you're following a 4-week daily schedule that I followed with my most recent Cavoodle puppy, Joey, the exact one I followed. It's actually why I kept a Cavoodle puppy and got another puppy. It was so I could create this program and literally just document everything I do with a Cavoodle puppy in those first 4 weeks to really build their confidence up so that we can significantly reduce their anxiety while also going through all of the training exercises that makes the communication between you and your puppy seamless and makes them really calm, really well behaved, and very attentive in the home. When you can communicate with your puppy clearly, without any miscommunication, without any confusion, your puppy then responds to you because that's what they want to do. Puppies always want to listen and respond. They want to do what you ask because they want to get your praise and your approval and their treat and their pat. So if you communicate to them properly and you very clearly are showing them, demonstrating to them how to act within your home, they follow this. And then it's like having an adult Cavoodle, but the puppy's only 4 months old. And you go through this really beautiful time where there's no such thing as this horrible, naughty puppy stage. Instead, we have this really sweet, cute, adorable puppy stage where we have the cuteness of a puppy with the demeanor of an adult Cavoodle. And it's a really beautiful time instead of a stressful time where you feel restricted and you're just praying day by day, when will this puppy stage be over? So with that 4-week daily schedule, you then go through all of the training. Like I said, a daily schedule. There's so many videos that I have filmed with Joey on how to shape these behaviors, how to do all the training, all of the socializing. And then each week, if you join my Cavoodle Puppy Planner program for 4 weeks, that you have your puppy those first 4 weeks to make sure you have all the support you need. You then get to jump onto a weekly group Q&A call with me, and you can jump online and you can say, Tiana, look, we're really just struggling with going out in public and keeping Sam really calm while we're on this walk. What do we do? And then I can tell you. Or you might go, oh, Tiana, Lucy, she just... I'm struggling to get her to settle in the evenings when we're trying to wind down and watch TV. What can I do to help her settle while we have this time to relax together? And then I can give you advice. You have those weekly Q&A calls so that you have the support there to guide you through this process and really make sure that, again, we keep that communication very seamless and that we ensure our puppies are getting everything they need. So this, my essential first month Cavoodle Puppy Planner, I really am so proud of it. There's nothing like it out there, and it's designed specifically for Cavoodles, and it is heavily focused on the prep work, because the more prep we can do, the better we can set our puppies up. But in saying that, if you have your Cavoodle puppy, you've just brought them home and you want to join, you absolutely can. You'll just have to do a few days of some pretty hardcore catch up to learn all that prep work, to then be able to implement the daily schedules. And of course, you'll then have those weekly Q&As where I can help you adjust in that adjustment period. But if you haven't got your Cavoodle puppy yet, the more prep work you can do, the better. The more time you leave yourself to prep, the better. Just like an exam, we want to revise things over and over. So if you click the link in the show notes of this video, you can go and join early access to this program. And again, you have access for an entire year. So it's never too early to prep for your Cavoodle puppy. I cannot emphasize how much you are going to thank yourself later on once you bring your puppy home. If you have done the prep work, it'll make it so much easier for both you and your puppy. So click the link in the show notes if you would like to join. Otherwise, you can also click the link in my bio on Instagram. My Instagram handle is @oodleway. Or you can just Google the Essential First Month Cavoodle Puppy Planner and it'll come up. I would really love to have you join me in this program. I would love to be your official Cavoodle Puppy Coach and to take you on this journey so that we really are shaping our Cavoodles to complement our lifestyle and not complicate it. Okay, so that's it for today's episode. I hope you loved it. I hope it gave you a better idea of how long you need to prep for your Cavoodle for. If you did enjoy it, please leave me a rating and a review. I would really appreciate it. There will be 3 dots somewhere on the page you are on for whatever podcasting app you're using. If you click those 3 dots, you'll be able to leave a rating and a review, and I would really appreciate it. I read them all, and it really does help get this podcast in front of other Cavoodle families, getting their puppy for the first time. So I would really appreciate it. Okay, I will see you next week in the next episode. This has been your Cavoodle coach, Tiana Karamayas. I will see you later. Bye.